Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am back with part 2 of this mini quilt that I am making with 7 of my mystery blocks. If you're not familiar with this series, there's a playlist link in the description of this video, also on the end screen. When I left you, I had put these blocks together, number 31, number 27. If you go to my playlist, just look for those numbers and you'll see how I made these blocks, and I'm telling you as I go now what size they are. So you know, you don't have to make these blocks, but when I'm telling you the sizes, you can make whatever you want to fit the size. But you'll also notice that when I tell you the sizes, we might have to trim something, add something, all that stuff. So I just want to show you how you can just make pieces whenever you feel like it. Any kind of blocks you want, put them aside, and then you can put them together. They don't have to be all the same size. Okay, so here's what I noticed. I did this and this. That's all good. One is a little bit, I think this one's a little bit taller than this one. That just means we trim a little bit. And then I told you I was most likely doing this. Block number 26, number 32, and number 29. But look, this is one of those blocks where we cut on one piece and then flip open, and this is two. So I don't really want these this close together. So I thought I will put it up here like this. Okay? But then look what I have here. I have a block with all little squares. Well, they're not squares, but you know what I mean, like little patches, and I have that here too. So I thought, well, I'm not going to put it up against that. I could put it up against that. I don't really feel like putting a small strip on each side. I don't know. I'd like to just make it easy and bump it up against something and then do one strip there. But then I thought, how about this? I could also do this. Now, this is wide, so this would have to have a piece. This would have to, have stuff added to it. But what if I turn this? And then I could even, like, put it down here if I wanted. Now, these two almost fit. It would not take much trimming at all. And I could just trim right here. I kind of have, a lot there. So I thought I could do these two. Now, they'd end up being a little bit longer. Again, I have plenty of room to trim. But there will be seam allowances. And then this, though, if I tried to center that and I trim, I'm going to lose a lot of this point. I don't mind losing the point, but then there's not that much pink left, and it also has to be attached. So I don't know if I want to do that. I'm still thinking about it. But see, there's two seams here, so we lose an entire inch, a ½ inch each time we join. There would not be too much trimming that I'd have to do. And I think I like this one here, just to get these two, further apart. Let's just start. I'm going to sew these two together and I'm going to trim. Well, there's not a whole lot of yellow here, so I think I think I'll join these two rows like this, and then I'll just take off here. That'll take off some of the blue, but that's okay. I'm just going to sew these two together like that. I'll figure out at the machine exactly where I want to put it. Sewing right there. I have these two sewn together and I trimmed. I have decided I am going to trim this piece. The pink here and here is going to be very narrow, but that's okay. I would rather do that than add some skinny pieces that aren't going to look like they really blend. If I were to add pieces there, like I said, I could go to one side and just do one piece. I would make sure the piece was scrappy. I would not just put, one piece of fabric, a long strip like that. That would just be weird to me. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to, before sewing them together, I'm going to trim a ½ inch off each side of that. I actually didn't quite trim a whole 1/2 inch because I wanted it to extend from this one a little bit, just so I can trim after. And I also turned it because I wanted this kitty cat to be looking this way. I think I had it this way. So we're doing that. Okay, now I'm sewing this piece right to this piece right here, like that. And yes, I'm doing handheld camera for this because it's not taking very long, and I just wanted to be able to like show you up close, and I can also see what I'm doing. It's hard for me to see what you see if I have my camera on the tripod. All right, look, we are not trimming this one at all because of those two joins that we did. So we have to go by the shortest one. You can tell we have just a little bit. I'm lining it up there. We have just a tiny little bit there. And I think I'd rather trim there than here because we do have this point, you know, so we'll leave that as is. So now this guy can be lined up, and you know, we could have always flipped this if we wanted. Do we want? Is there any reason I would have to do that? That's very busy. That's not as busy. That's kind of busy. Let's go back this way and see. I don't know. I almost think I like it flipped for some reason. I think I'll keep it this way. So I'm going to put these two together first, this, and then I'll trim, and then I will line that one up there, and I'll trim. So these two together first, lined up here. So I'm going like this, and I know I'm sewing starting here to line them up, so I'm just going to turn it like that, and I'm just going to sew down. I'll line it up, you know, make it even at the machine. This is what I have. I've got the matching up here. I didn't trim that yet. I didn't trim that yet. But I forgot to give you the sizes of number 29, 26, 32. I don't even know if I gave you the sizes in the videos because I went to look for the sizes and I got sick of looking. But I know this one was about 5 inches square because I measured it when I was off camera. This one is about 4 inches square, number 26. So number 29, 5 inches square. Number 26, about 4 inches square. And this one was about 6 inches, well, depending which way. The long part was 6 inches-ish, and then this way was about 4 1/4-ish. So that's about the best I can do for you right now. And I have decided to put this one this way. So block number 28 is down here, and then 30 is here, because this has some big pieces in it, and this does too. So I kind of like that. And we got the patchwork thing going on. All right, so I'm going to now sew lining up here because I don't want to have to trim those little pieces there. I can easily trim off here. So let me sew these two together. This is what I have now. All I have to do is trim there and there. Let me do that. I am so incredibly happy with this. It turned out to be 14 inches square after I trimmed. I was able to trim and get 14 inches square. Now I will be backing it and putting some batting maybe, but that's not in this video. But I do want to mention, I would have liked it if I would have had one of these pieces here somewhere, because there's a lot of gold there and there's a lot of non-gold there. But what I did is because I did it because it fit. See, this was longer, this was short. You know, so if I would have swapped, I would have had to do some trimming. Now, honestly, we did not do hardly any trimming at all. Hardly any at all, just little bits. It's just a matter of making a puzzle. Look, and I only had 7 squares done, so I had no choice but to use those 7 squares, and it worked. It worked out great. If you are putting something together and you really are off, you need something big or you need something smaller, go ahead and just make another block to fit and just keep, you know, the other blocks that you don't have. You can just keep making blocks, and when you have a whole bunch of them, you can make the puzzle pretty much any way you want. It's just very, very easy. Oh yeah, so now let's look. This block, see, it didn't end up being even. You can see I have that, but I lost a lot here. So it's a matter of me having used maybe a very generous 1/4 inch and not paying attention and not really caring. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, we can just say we did it that way on purpose. So, look, it's cool. And then again, my other concern was that it was going to look so like blocks that don't go together and not really like as scrappy, but I like this. It's uber scrappy. Again, it's like Scrappy with a little bit of crumb quilting in it, and oh my goodness, I'm excited. So I don't know what I'm going to back with yet. My initial thought is muslin. I really want to find some flannel that I like. And, you know, maybe get a bolt of a flannel that I like, and then I can let you guys know, you know, if it's one that I really like, I would be testing it, and then I could have that for sale. I have my muslin for sale. I sell it in 2-yard cuts. That's on eBay right now. I think maybe I have the link in the description. I don't know. If I don't, I'll put the muslin link in the description. And I'll be back with part 3 soon. I don't know if I'll be doing something else in between, but I'm very anxious to make a little pet bed. And I know this is only 14 inches square. I could add a border of some kind all the way around, and, you know, we'll just see what happens. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be back with part 3 soon. Bye.